season. Pre-season's for.
Oh, you're not going to want to do the second name.
Wait, do you radio Jess? Yeah. I need Jess.
You leave it on?
Yeah, we're good. No, they don't do it out here. Is that for Bond or Broadbeach? Broadbeach is $5 too.
Half time World Cup 2 rounds is Broadbeach $5.272, plays Bond $3.119. Good start by Bond. Best play so far, Jack Wilson. Fastest round.
Oh yeah.
What's the beeping? Is it this?
Every time,
Good
before
CL.
quarter, half time, it gets to beat to go back to
Those.
10-minute break.
Oh, so I didn't know that.
Yeah, it happens like once a
So after divorce.
yes.
Hey, and you would be one of those
Like he's one of those people who tells everyone so this is the girl's best friend. Which is funny because he's spoken about eight first. It's just like that, but I love the test.
fuck.
That was a good girl.
I was pretty fucked up. Like, I don't really remember. I don't think I'd be any good as in any good. That's the issue here. It wasn't a very good, like, first. That's the word I'm looking for.
First go around, first practice match, first hit out.
I was so fucked up. Poor boy.
Were you as fucked up when you were doing shit around the side? Oh, sorry, I mean discussing this family issues.
How do you know these things? We weren't even around the side of the road, we were only in the house.
Really?
Around like the neighbour's house. Had to go walk about. Shut up. anything to help it.
Baby.
Real helpful.
She said we like,
I don't know. Are you okay?
I know I think it was it. Chewed too much.
People in Europe is more. It's not helping anyway. Why is this being recorded?
Don't happen.
Yeah.
It's kind of my highlight.
I'm just gonna press play on the iPad.
Go for it.
It's a shit zone.
You're a bit of a Macklemore fan there, Jess. You like Macklemore?
I think about Eagle Rock, so it's
Get out of the way. Yeah. Defender can't. Yeah, well, it can follow, but
Yeah, you need 2 metres.
but then you stop the plane. Yeah. Shepherd.
Ground's not too long. Wales lost.
Dog leg.
That close up. Yeah, definitely want to get a hold of that footage after that.
Yeah.
I would.
Alright, no.
Last one. Yeah. Sure, that would be some sort of assessment.
Yeah.
It's not every practice game you get fully recorded multiple different camera angles.
Feeling better than the women's. That ain't really
Oh, I bet you feel nicely. Bond.
That's
Yeah,
a
that game
Got it somewhere.
because it'd be good to go through this go. I know I did this wrong here and then show them and say what you want to do better.
Get access before the coaches do.
Exactly.
Let's make some edits.
Go through the game footage and know exactly what the response is going to be.
Might hurt my back. walk up.
For the bribe? I'll facilitate.
My opponent got it easy, and I think. Bounced it, and he accidentally went too far forward. And that missed it. And the rucker was going, but mate, you came straight at me.
Second quarter, and that's definitely holding the ball. Fantastic tackle advantage paid. Jack Robson takes the advantage. 2-0 advantage for
And mine just comes up with weird shit. I'm like, most 25, most places. I also love musical. Country girl. You're off from your food.
It's almost insane. Much fancy.
warming it.
Doing well for the first game of the season.
Welcome back to the second half of this practice match between Bond Uni and the Broadbeach Cats. Just to recap the score at halftime, it was 5 goals 2-32, placed 3 goals 1-19, with Broadbeach in front. And early on here, it's a good clearance up forward to Bond as they look to go inside 50, looking for Davis there, who wheels around onto his left. He throws it on, but it's a good smother there by the Broadbeach player and a bit of a scrap around. It falls to... I can't see from here who that is. I believe that's Harry McMaster in his first game. He might have slotted one for Bond early on in this third quarter. But I can't quite tell because it's on the other side of the field. It might be Hamilton. It's either Hamilton or McMaster. Anyway, good start by Bond in the second half as they kick back within 7 points early on, with only a couple of minutes gone in this second quarter, third quarter I should say. wind's picked up a little bit and is going to the right-hand side of the screen, which is the way that Bond is kicking this quarter. So they'll look to take advantage of that and hopefully take a lead into the fourth quarter and hold on for a good early pre-season victory. It was Ryan Lenigan wins the tap. Pretty much uncontested there, but it is Broadbeach again with numbers around the footy as Jack Robson goes back. Ryan Lenigan gets it, tries to get hands out, but it's good pressure there by Broadbeach. They've got a lot of numbers around the footy and have done for this entire game, and it'll be another ball up as Lenigan will look to win another tap. As the Broadbeach play steals one there, and the umpire's found a high contact free kick there to Broadbeach as he looks out wide, and he's got in loads of space Mark Hons, who turns around, throws it on his right boot, kicks up forward, but it's Keith Allen taking a great intercepting mark there down back. And he'll look to bring it back the other way. He sees Ben Willoughby out on the wing. That's a almost good mark, but well done there by the Broadbeach player, who goes and gets his own footy, but it's Bond coming away with it, and that will be Davis flying up for the mark, but the Broadbeach player comes over the top, taps it to himself. Jack Robson got his head over the footy, tries to get rid of it, but he couldn't quite get the fist to it, as it looks like Broadbeach were going to take the advantage. But that was a good tackle there by the Broadbeach player, and that's holding the ball as Broadbeach quickly spread, but there's not a whole lot doing, so he'll just throw it on the right boot to a contest, and he's kicked it to about a 4-on-1, including Ryan Lenigan. So not the best decision making there, as Bond will easily be able to get it out of that back line through their captain Mark Foster, who looks in broad and hits up Glenn Screech, who throws it on the left boot and kicks out to that's Chris Rainsford, who kicks it high and long, but it's Broadbeach getting back. Davis flew, but couldn't get position. It was well done by the Broadbeach player, and they'll look to bring it out down the far wing. And they've got a few numbers out there as he turns onto his inside, throws it on the right boot. Big one-on-one contest here. Broadbeach player just taps it out the back to himself, but it's a good contest, and it'll be a ball up in all likelihood, as the umpire does say that he'll have it. 3 minutes gone in this third quarter.
Good contest.
And it's Keith Allen winning a clearance. That's fantastic work as he throws it on the right boot and kicks it up forward. Matt Ferguson flies, can't quite take the mark, but does well to bring it to ground. And Charlie Hawkins has the kick smothered, but goes back and gets himself, wheels around onto the right again. Glenn Screech breaking a couple of tackles, but he drops the ball in the process. And he'll be deemed to have been caught with it there. And it'll be a Broadbeach free kick on their half back line.
See nothing. Luxy.
It's probably a goal-saving tackle there by the Broadbeach player. If he'd broken through that tackle successfully, he was off to the races. So well done by Jock Thompson there of the Broadbeach Cats. He spots out a teammate on the far wing. But again, not a whole lot doing up forward. The Bond backline is being pretty tight on their opposition, and he's had to go long to a contest again to Ryan Lenigan, who flies but can't quite take the mark. The ball spills out the back, and it's very well done there. Keith Allen now over the footy, breaks a tackle, gives hands off, but only as far as a Broadbeach player. He just sort of throws it on the boot to a 3-on-1. Blair Morgan coming through, fantastic mark. He's been fantastic today, Blair Morgan. Very, very good down back, very dependable, and he gives to Jack Robson, who's another one of the best of Fields so far. So he runs around, gets it on the right boot, throws it to Ben Willoughby, who flies and takes a good, strong mark. As he looks in board back to Jack Robson. He'll go back to Willoughby. Bit of pinball footy here as they go 1-2, 1-2, and Willoughby throws it on the right boot, kicks it up forward to Davis on a 1-on-1. Oh, and he's taken a fantastic mark. That is really well done by Davis as he wheels around onto his left and looks inside 50. Can't quite spot up, but Matt Ferguson grabs it, throws the hands off, but it'll be out of play for Broadbeach throw-in. Great mark there by Davis, just going back a little bit.
Hold the meter, ruck. No, third meter up. Hold the
And
meter.
it will be Chris Rainsford doing the ruck work for Bond Uni. As he gets the front position, but he's worked under the footy a little bit there. And it's Broadbeach again with numbers out of the clearance. They're really dominating the clearances so far today, but they can only kick as far as a 2-on-1, and Ryan Lenigan does beautifully well to get a big hand on the ball and get it out of bounds for another ball in.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's
And he'll be doing the ruck work himself
he's got legs.
against the Broadbeach player who is about the size of his left leg.
That's it, well done.
The ball's up. Lenigan wins the tap as expected. A very nice tap down to Glenn Screech, who just can't quite pick up the ball, and Broadbeach will look to come away the other way. The Broadbeach players worked out in the space here very well. That's Josh O'Connell, who throws it on the right boot up forward. Keith Allen does well. The feet just got tangled up a bit, and Keith kept his feet and took the intercepting mark, so well done there. Keith's been very good so far in this second half. So he looks to Blair Morgan in the middle. He'll wheel around onto that left foot and try and put it through. Oh, but the Broadbeach player's right there to take the intercepting mark. He was looking for Foster to get a bit of a switch happening, but the Broadbeach player filled the space expertly, and he now sends it up forward to a 2-on-2. Big fly by the Broadbeach player, but he can't quite bring it to ground. There's that fantastic work there by Trace Buckler. And Bond bring it back the other way. Glenn Screech with a very strong mark, just used his body well. Throws on the left foot, boot up forward. Charlie Hawkins can't quite get it, and Broadbeach look to run away with it the other way, but only as far as the Bond player, who's flown over the top of, but said to be a genuine attempt at the mark. So Broadbeach will bring it out the other way, down the far side, and they've got a bit of time to compose themselves, but he wheels around on the left foot and kicks again to a big contest involving Ryan Lenigan. They're just spotting Lenigan up for contested marks. It's not exactly the best strategy, but then Ryan scuffs the kick a little bit, and he's spotted up the Broadbeach player, Josh O'Connell, who'll kick from about 55 out, but no, he won't. He'll spot his teammate about 30 metres out, 45-degree angle, and he'll go back to calmly try and slot Broadbeach's first goal of the second half and their 6th for the match. That's Luke Papas, who has been playing full forward for most of this game. Kicked one earlier in the day, and he's looking for his second here. He puts the ball on the deck. Now he'll line up. He'll slowly walk in. The wind might make this a bit difficult. There should be a left to right wind. And he starts it at that right post, but he works it back against the wind beautifully. So great set shot there by Luke Papas. And Broadbeach have got their first goal of this second half. So that's 6 goals to 38. Plays 4 goals, 1, 25. About 9 minutes gone in this third quarter. Bond will look to try and get a couple before three-quarter time and use the win that they've got, as the central umpire will recall his bounce there. Didn't quite get up as high as he would have liked. So we'll have a bit of a reset. And he'll throw it up this time. Make sure there's no mistakes, as Ryan Lenigan wins the tap down to Jack Robson, who breaks through the pack. Oh, well done. He gets hit there without the ball, but it was in the vicinity. So it's seen as fair, as that's Glenn Screech hurling the ball up forward. Chris Rainsford did well to tap it over the top, but it only went as far as the Broadbeach player, and they're away now on the far wing, as that is Jackson Leary, who throws it on the right boot and looks, but Mark Foster does very, very well there, trailing his man, but he got a fist in, and it's over the boundary line for a boundary throw in. Great work there by Mark Foster. Doesn't ordinarily give his opposition much space. He didn't do so there. A bit of an offline throw in there, but the tap comes down. It's Jack Robson again trying to break through the tack. Good hands off, and Bond will move forward. Ball just rolls, unfortunately, past Matt Ferguson there, and Broadbeach look to come away with it the other way, and they've got plenty of numbers out there on the wing, and they've got plenty of time. They'll look to spot someone up, but the kick's a bit offline, and it's Ben Willoughby cutting it off, giving hands off to Jack Robson. Can't quite get his hands on it. Broadbeach look to work it back the other way, throws it on the right boot up forward, getting back is Glenn Screech, but the kick's offline, and that is through for 1 behind, as Glenn Screech will take the kicking in duties. And he'll look to load up.
Move it on. Play
On his right foot. Put it out to Blair Morgan, so there's numbers there. drops the mark, but Chris Rainsford comes away with it, kicks up forward, Harry McMaster in a 1-on-1. Lovely work, Charlie Hawkins read the play beautifully over the top. Bit of a mongrel punt up forward, but good metres. And it's going to be a boundary throw in that forward pocket. It was a well-read ball by Charlie Hawkins. And Bond go from defensive 50 to forward 50 in a flash. And they'll be looking to capitalise on this with only 4 minutes left in this third quarter.
That's it. Keep that 1 metre.
So Ryan Lanigan shoves his opponent out of the way and gets a tap down, but Charlie Hawkins can't quite work his snapshot back. And that'll be through for a behind. As Broadbeach will look, with only 3.5 minutes left in this quarter, try and get something happening up forward. It'll be Max Gillespie with the kicking in duties. Broadbeach get their huddle and they spread to the far side, but there's no one that can get free, and he'll have to kick to what? Oh, that was a beautiful kick. He really spotted up Jai Melverton there, who turns around his right foot, but Mark Foster does well. Does the spoil, but it's Broadbeach coming back the other way, and they've got numbers running through the centre of the ground. But it's Keith Allen coming back with the intercept mark. Well done, Keith. Beautiful work. It's Charlie Hawkins, but spoiled well by Broadbeach as Jack Robson gets in the middle of the ground, feeds it back. Ben Willoughby will look up forward. There's not a lot doing. Hamilton grabs it, throws it on his left, looking for big Ryan Lanigan, but he can't quite get down to the footy, and Broadbeach will come away with it the other way, but it's, again, only as far as Wren there, Tom Wren, who was contesting well, but Broadbeach wheeled around, threw it on the right boot, and they'll take a mark just forward of centre on the far wing. But they kick to a contest again. They're not getting a lot of one-outs up forward, but they're doing well at this. They're crumbing well, and they're getting numbers around the footy, and it's working in their favour at the moment. But that's fantastic work there by the Bond player. He'll work it out to Keith Allen, who throws it on the right boot, and he'll look up forward. A fantastic mark taken up there. It's the far side of the ground, so I can't quite see who it is, but he looks inside to Charlie Hawkins, who again look to Hamilton, throws it on the right boot, puts it up. Big Ryan Lanigan coming with the lead. That's a fantastic kick, a fantastic lead, and generally just great footy there by the Bond team, as Ryan Lanigan will line up from 25 metres out on a 45-degree angle. Wrong side for the right footer, but he's got a wealth of experience as the club life member, lining up for this goal. And he starts on the right post, and it's just working away to the right there, and he'll just go the other side of the post for a behind. The wind might have been working against him a little bit there, although it does look like it's died down. And that fantastic work on the far wing before was by Tom Wren. Very well done by Tom. But Broadbeach have the kick out from fullback. And again, they'll huddle, and again, they'll spread, this time to the near side. They'll look to Richard Kerr over the back, their ruckman, but Harry McMaster does very well contesting it and laying the tackle, and Kerr drops the footy, and it's a good contest. Harry McMaster's done very well here, and the ball's out for a boundary throw-in. He's 1 or 2 on 1 there that involved the opposition ruckman, so very well done, Harry McMaster.
Hold your metre, ruckman, no third man up. Hold that metre.
As Chris Rainsford comes in to do the ruck work against Kerr. Ball comes in, ball's over the back, and Jack Robson ends up doing the ruck work. So it falls to Charlie Hawkins, who lays a big tackle. Harry McMaster's got space over the top. Bond will look to go forward here. They look for Lanigan again, and he takes another strong mark in an identical position to his last kick. He'll hopefully look to start this one on the left post and work it back with the wind.
He's got 2 metres now.
Well done by Harry McMaster there, getting the ball over the top. It's Ryan Lanigan who starts this one out further to the right, and that's gone out in the full. Can't quite
Another step just there. Yep.
Get going here, can Ryan, as the siren sounds for the end of the third quarter.
Can I keep this one up?
We'll be back in 5 minutes with the fourth and final quarter of this reserve grade practice match.
Slowly coming back. Yeah. No, you did well. That's good communication. So. Sounds good.
They definitely know how to switch the ball on the back flank.
They're moving okay, yeah.
Every time Bond have it on their back flank, the moment they switch it, they get into their forward 50 easy.
There's an old shorter Bond guy. He's just really making life
As miserable as possible for the taller,
younger.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's just constantly spragging him and giving him a couple of tummy tucks.
Bond guy. Trying to encourage him.
So, I mean, Bond guy's giving up about a foot behind him.
Oh, the little guy.
So he's almost got Christian Knuckle down there. So, young.
I don't think that Bond full forward was paying attention.
Good footballer.
Like he takes a great
Doesn't have a kick.
He takes a great mark. He just takes his time and he overcomplicates it. Instead of just kicking through the ball.
Goalie's happy with that.
That's good for us, mate.
Sorry, we're having our
Little score check. So is this a film project or something?
Yeah, so it's our film and TV department. So they're mixing 6-3.
Broadbeach used to be 6-3-35.
Graphic design. I could get used to these short minutes.
So 6 to 8 Broadbeach.
We only got 6.7 Ks.
End up about 9.
Good. We're back over boarding. Time games before. It's like 14 days. You have time on 20 minutes plus time on. You can go for 32, 34 minutes. But it's hard for you guys to go back to school all the time. Well, you don't mind it.
Welcome back to the fourth quarter here of the practice match between the Bond Uni reserves team and the Broadbeach Cats reserves team. That's not the best bounce to start the fourth quarter. Just recapping the scores, it is 6 goals 3, 39, plays 4 goals 3, 27, with Broadbeach in the lead at this stage by that 2-goal margin. And Bond will be looking to try and get a couple of early ones on the board so that they can make this a very exciting last 5 minutes here. Although it is a practice game, it is the first external hit out of the season, so they'll be looking to get a win on the board. The wind's died down a little bit, but if there is any wind, it is going to the right-hand side of the screen, which is the direction that Broadbeach is kicking this quarter. But it's Bond with the early running as Keith Allen puts it up forward just in front of Chris Rainsford, but it bounces over his head. He works back with it. Charlie Hawkins trying to work onto the loose footy. But there's a bit of a scrap around. Keegan Scarry tries to wheel onto his right foot back into traffic as Harry McMaster throws it on the left, but it's just missed to the far side. Could be a handy point. You don't mind a handy point at this time in a game with only 14 minutes left. That makes it an 11-point margin as Broadbeach will kick out from full back and look to try and have their first attacking foray of this fourth quarter. But they put it up, and they only put it as far as Ben Willoughby, who outmarks 3 Broadbeach players. A lot taller than him. He turns the wrong way, but I've corrected him now, and he did take a good intercept mark as he spots up Charlie Hawkins now at about 30 metres out. 45-degree angle. He'll look to kick, I think, his third of the day. Will Charlie. He's had a very good game. He's set up a couple, he's kicked a couple himself. This would really bring Bond back in the game and make it a 5-point margin. So important kick here by Charlie. It's a bit low to skimmer, but it's a punch shot just beautifully through straight over the goal umpire's head. And that is the first goal of this fourth quarter, and it goes Bond's way. So that makes it 5 goals. 5 goals 4. 34, I believe. 6 goals, 3, 39. So it's a very important goal here, and it's very much game on with 13 minutes left in this game, this practice game. But it's easy to forget it's a practice game when it's this exciting. As it'll be Chris Rainsford doing the ruck work, but it's Broadbeach winning the tap through Richard Kerr, the old Bond player. Falls down to Wren, who gives hands out to the side. Beautifully done. Goes up forward. Harry McMaster marking in front. He plays on. I think he'd actually gone the wrong way there, but he realised he was free and he throws it on the right boot. Bit of a helicopter punt. Probably just blazed away there when he didn't need to. Could have spotted someone up inside 50 as Broadbeach pushed back to take the intercept mark, and they'll look to bring it out in the near side. But it's Davis getting back with a beautiful cut-off mark. He's had a great game as Davis so far today. Probably a bit too far out to score. He'll look to just put it up to the top of the square. See if Hawkins with a beautiful lead, and that's a great spot up. Charlie Hawkins has had a fantastic start to this fourth quarter, and he'll line up from about 25 metres out. Bit more than a 45-degree angle, but on the right side for a right footer. Ooh, and he's just sprayed that off to the left. But that's all right, we can forgive him for that, given how well he's played so far. So it's now a 4-point margin in Broadbeach's favour. Bond have all the early running of this fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's it.
If I were a betting man, which I am, probably have my money on Bond at this stage. They've started this quarter extremely well, and the Broadbeach player has just stepped over the goal square, kicking out, so that'll be a ball up on the edge of the square. Bad mistake there by the Broadbeach player. Very easy to do, mind you, but good opportunity for Bond here to try and slot one and take the lead for the first time since very early on in the first quarter. as it's Charlie Hawkins doing the tap work down to James Fitchett, tries to break a tackle, drops it, just got his foot to it, says the umpire, so it's not holding the ball, and there's a scrap now, and the umpire says, oh, I thought he was going to say I'll have it, but he'll pay holding the ball against Bond there. And it was probably fair, it was James Fitchett, so he did have a lot of time with the footy there. And Broadbeach will look to bring it out and try and calm things down with Bond having all the early running, but it's again Ben Willoughby there, getting across, making the spoil, and it'll be a throw-in from that boundary line on the far side. Ben Willoughby really setting up the wall there, as you're told to do in junior footy. Really, really well. A couple of an intercept mark and he could spoil. Keep the pressure on with Bond down by 4 points and 10 minutes left in this practice match. The ball comes in, but it's not going to get out of there. It's a bit of a scrap. The umpire says, I'll have it, and we'll try again. Broadbeach have been dominating the clearances so far today, but these first few of this fourth quarter, Bond have gotten away with. So that's usually a sure sign of the way momentum's swinging. And they go again, push forward here, as it's again Charlie Hawkins, and the ball takes a bad bite. Bounce, Keegan Scary wheels around onto his right foot, bounces it up forward. Davis running back there, but to no avail, and it's rushed through by the Broadbeach Cats for a behind, and that makes it a 3-point margin now as they're inching closer and closer together. And Broadbeach bringing it down this near side. It's not Jack Robson. Corey Wedding running forward, puts on the boot. That wouldn't have been 15 anyways. It comes out to Keegan Scary. Keegan Scary wheels onto his right side, just puts it up forward. Probably rushed that a little bit. There wasn't a lot happening up forward. But again, they'll look to set up that wall. Corey Wedding working back with the fight, but that's a fantastic kick and a very, very nice mark there by Jai Melverton for Broadbeach. And they'll look to move forward now. Running up forward, but there's numbers there. Blair Morgan, Paul stops props. He did well to turn around there, but it's back to Broadbeach. They'll put it up forward. That's a fantastic goal. Josh O'Connell, who's had a great game so far for the Broadbeach Cats, did it all himself, tried to set up a goal, but it came back to him and he thought, I'm not going to set up another one, I'll just have a crack myself, and he's put it away beautifully. There has O'Connell, and there's a bit of buffer room now for Broadbeach, who'll kick away to a 9-point lead. There's 7 goals, 3, 45 plays, 5 goals, 6, 36. So it is Bond who've had more scoring shots, but Broadbeach have just been a bit more accurate here in this early pre-season practice game. It's still all to play for, 8 minutes left on the clock, only 2 goals needed, and that goal, you have to say, was against the run of play. So Bond will be trying to get back on top here for Chris Rainsford's ruck work. Ryan Lenigan resting up forward. On the bench even, I apologise, but Chris Rainsford doing it plenty well himself, and he wins the tap, but Broadbeach again numbers around the footy, but Bond will look to bring it out the other way. It's a bit of a scrap. Well done by Bond. They're trying to work it out on the far side, but there's Broadbeach players everywhere. A lot of numbers around the footy. It's like seagulls to a chip, and it's Broadbeach coming away with it, but Mark Foster does well. Oh, he had the front position, but the Broadbeach player comes over the top. That's Daniel Grundy. Doesn't back himself from that distance, so looks to get the ball moving, but he did well, and he does spot up a teammate about 15 metres out, directly in front. And this would be a bit of a nail in the coffin for the Bond boys. This would kick it out to a 15-point lead with only 7 minutes left. It's not to say it's not doable, but it would be an important goal, and it's a very big kick, as he just sort of toe pokes at that one, didn't kick through the ball, but just sneaks it in just inside the near post, and it is a goal to Broadbeach as they kick away and get a little bit of space here as the clock runs down in this fourth quarter. But it's been a good show by the Bond boys, a good little hit out with their first external practice match of the season. A lot of the boys playing their first game for the club. A lot of them are also backing up for the seniors game later this afternoon, so it'll be interesting to see how they run out 8 quarters of footy this early on in the pre-season, but it'll be a good test for them. But all in all, there's been some good performances. Jack Robson's been very hard at the footy. Blair Morgan's been fantastic down back. Charlie Hawkins up forward has also been exceptional. He probably could have had a couple more than he's had, but he's set up a couple and missed a couple that he really should have had. But he's been everywhere. He's been Bond's entire forward line, really. So a very good game by Charlie Hawkins. And Chris Rainsford, he's been doing very well in the ruck with Ryan Lenigan resting, but not much you could do about that one as the ball up was outside the circle and the umpire says, look, I'll have another go at that, but I might throw it up this time, as they tend to do. So Chris Rainsford again will fly against Richard Kerr, the former Bond player. And wonderful work out of the middle as Bond pushed forward. Charlie Hawkins just caught behind, but he did well to get to the front, used his body, wheels around on the right foot, throws on the right foot, and he's sliced that in golfing terms out to the right. But it does bounce before it goes over the line, and so it'll be a boundary thrown in that forward pocket, and Bond will look to get something happening. They probably need a goal quick. 3 goals needed with 5 minutes left on the clock, but it is doable. And Charlie Hawkins doing the ruck work himself. Wonderful tap down, but there's about 18 Broadbeach players waiting there, and they gang tackle. I believe that was Keith Allen as he was trying to run away with the ball there. As the ball goes up, Charlie Hawkins again with the ruck work, loses that tap, but Broadbeach look to come away with it, and they've done well, and that's Josh O'Connell again, I believe, getting the rebound 50. He's had a fantastic game for Broadbeach. I'm not sure if he's also playing in the ones, but he certainly played well enough to get the call up as they push forward. Chris Rainsford going back with the ball. There's only 2 people back in the Broadbeach forward line. They've got a lot of numbers around the footy and a spare man down back as well. So they know they've got this 15-point lead and they're trying their hardest to protect it. But it's Bond coming forward at the moment. If the bounce had just sat up a little bit, which it didn't, and now Broadbeach have a chance to run back the other way. Ben Willoughby doing very well to get across and lay a big tackle, but the Broadbeach player did well to get it out to his mate, and they spot up someone inside 50, but the mark's dropped twice by 2 different Broadbeach players, and it's wonderfully out to Davis, who does well to take a mark with the opposition ruckman bearing down on him. Very, very courageous there by Davis. He uses that left foot, puts it up, but a Broadbeach player comes across and takes the intercept mark, just cutting in front of Corey Wedding there. He's got to get the ball moving. He looks to kick to the trainer, but there is a Broadbeach player there as well. And Matt Ferguson on the mark. That's Curtis Glover, who will look to try and get something happening, or will he look to go sideways? No, he just puts it up-ish to Richard Kerr, the ruckman, but Davis does well again on someone who's 3 times his size. But Broadbeach running away with it. He blazes away with the left foot, but only as far as Chris Rainsford, who unfortunately drops the mark, but goes back and gets his own footy, and they will pay the mark now. About 4th grab. Don't see that very often, but definitely claim it as he kicks it out to this near side and going back with the flight there.
Still mine.
As Bond looked to come away with it. Well done, Ben Willoughby on the ball, hands it back to Keith Allen. And he'll look to do something, as it was Trace Buckler going back with the flight there earlier on. But they can only get it as far as the Broadbeach player, Curtis Glover, who takes another good mark and looks inside. And Broadbeach might just chip it around a bit here with only 2.5 minutes left on the clock. But they don't, they push forward. Wedding flies to no avail, but Fitchett comes away with it, and Wedding seems to be on the deck. He's hurt himself. That's not good because he's playing in the seniors after this game. But it's well done by Fitchett, who gets up forward to Harry McMaster, who can't quite take the mark, and the Broadbeach player does well. Chips it back inside to his mate, and they'll switch play and they'll try and work it up this near side as Josh O'Connell, who's had a fantastic game, gets another touch and he'll look to get it back. But the run isn't honoured. Broadbeach player smartly saying, look mate, there's only 2 minutes left on the clock, I might use my full 10 here. But here it looks like that was 50 metres. Ben Willoughby just overstepping the mark. He did well to get a finger on it, but the umpire correctly ruled that he had overstepped the mark, and well, that might just about do us, as there's only 1:40 left on the clock, and with this 50-metre penalty, Broadbeach will have a chance to increase that 15-point margin.
There's your line, Mark's here.
Although he's a fair way out, but he's got the wind at his back. He'll look to just start this in the left-hand post and try and work it in from there. That's what he should do. I'm not sure whether he will do that, but yep, beautiful at the left-hand post. Oh, but it's a bit of a mongrel punt, and it's hit the post. Not really much the wind can do about that when it's spinning sideways. But that is a point to Broadbeach, and that is a 16-point lead, and that is very much unassailable with only a minute left. But it has been a good performance here by the Bond reserves guys. As I said, a lot of them are backing up for the senior team, and there's been some fantastic individual performances. That wasn't the best kick out by Mark Foster, the captain. But Broadbeach will look to kick it back inside 50. And Keith Allen going back with the flight. Well done. Bodies everywhere. Broadbeach, it comes out to them and they'll kick it through for another goal, and that'll be a 21-point likely win for Broadbeach as the timer runs down with only 30 seconds left on the clock. They've put in a good show, Broadbeach. They're a very, very quality outfit. Looking forward to what their seniors can do, but by no means disgrace have been the Bond team. They've put in a good performance. They've been hard at the footy. Broadbeach have just won most of the clearances, and at the end of the day, that's been telling to the final result. But the Bond guys can hold their heads high. They've dug in, they've laid a couple of good tackles, a few highlight plays, a few great standout performers, but as the clock ticks down to the end of the game, they can be very proud. And that is a 21-point win to the Broadbeach reserves side in this pre-season practice game. Good performance by both teams, good hard footy on a very, very hot day here on the Gold Coast. But thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back with the seniors game in about half an hour. But to recap the score, it is Broadbeach running away with a 21-point victory. So congratulations to them, but the Bond boys put in a good show.
Guy for the season.
Can't even get away with that anymore.
Sorry.
How you doing, mate?
Why they not? I don't know. They might have. I don't know. Oh, fantastic.
Well, have you seen my kids out here?
Do we have their seniors list?
Yeah, just to go for here. You got our seniors?
Huh?
Did they give you the seniors for the sheet?
I've got it on my phone. I know that's insane. I need to write that up.
Turn around, Jackson.
Oh, yeah. That's just dusty. This is not playing for.
want to swap, and can we get CCU and EDS swapped over?
Yep.
Just
Sweet.
yes. Yeah, I think Daniel, but Lee has not performed very well, so Daniel can go up to EBS, JT and Ash can swap CCU. Can you just make it happen? I'm just dealing with something else, so that'd be great.
one doesn't have the thing you have to look for, or it has it for you.
Yeah, that's gonna.
Is that the one you're most expensive camera?
Yeah.
Is the expensive?
Well, there's three of them. This bit here,
Mm-hmm.
that costs $60,000.
60?
Yeah.
And then that?
60.
So that microphone's still on, so now everyone thinks you're for ages.
look at the blue, it's the blue there, it's really focused, like one on, so they actually show.
Right, now with me on the next. These balls are
There you go. You got that for free. So you've probably got connections. Hey? Yeah, well, you're either a peaker or you're not.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I would like to have that because everything should be set.
Balls off, guys! Balls off! Broadbeach! Balls off! Huddle up! Let's get ready!
The guy who's doing left.
But it just does one. The top three come and the two outside.
Communication's going to be key for us. So long as we're communicating
No, you didn't tell me.
each other out, sharing the load, that's going to make a difference for us. Yeah,
Okay, I'll talk to you about that later.
communication, early handovers, help the mate out.
And Joyce is coming.
Yeah. Simple as that.
Let's go, Bond! Straight goals!
That's not cool, gents.
Plays a different song every time. Plays ABBA sometimes. That's always a highlight. Yeah. Is this Walter Matilda? Yeah, this is Walter Matilda.
So if you keep this door closed, can't hear all the way. But here.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, sign
Yeah, no, you say. Let's go, Streamer!
Hello and welcome back to the Bond University AFL Fields here. We've got the seniors practice game kicking off with Bond Uni up again against the Broadbeach Cats. Again, recapping the reserves grade score, that was a win to Broadbeach, a 21-point win. And the Bond Uni seniors team will be looking to avenge that here as the second practice game of the day gets underway. We've got Bond kicking to the right side of the screen. And there's a slight wind going that way, so they'll be looking to get off to a fast start. And the ball goes up. Not the best bounce, but it's ruled to be fair as Dan Goodburn tries and contests a ruck tap that he really had no chance in. But there's a scrappy start to the game. Broadbeach are trying to get numbers. Big gang tackle there. But it's ruled to have been high contact by Dan Goodburn getting over the shoulder there. Jack Robson just gave the ball back to the Broadbeach players. They look to bring it out on this near side wing. And they'll look back in board and, two hands for beginners, mate, to the Broadbeach player, but he manages to take it and he wheels out onto his right side and a nice switch and Broadbeach are away. There's not a whole lot doing up forward though and he has to blaze away to a one-on-one. It's well done there by the Bond player. Good contest, but it is still Broadbeach with numbers around the footy as they had in the reserves and they'll look to push forward. The mark is dropped. Good pressure there by Ben Willoughby and over the top. Fantastic work, Edward Burrows-Cheng. The club president there as the umpire takes a bit of a tumble. He kicks long to Jack Colhoun, but the ball's spoiled and that'll roll out of bounds for a boundary throw-in. The umpire took a bit of a tumble there. Probably just watching the fantastic mark by Burrows-Cheng. But it'll be Dan Goodburn contesting the ruck contest against, I believe, Braid Palmer. He's doing the ruck work there for Broadbeach and he wins the tap, but he only gets as far as Chris Powell, who wheels onto the right foot, gets it up to Jack Robson. Jack Robson tries to hand it off, can't quite get it out, and Broadbeach will come with it the other way as they stream up forward, but they can't get that kick quite right, and that's got to be high contact. It was high contact there, and Bond won't take the advantage, but wow, getting absolutely whacked there was Can't quite see from here who that is, but Williams, I believe, got smacked over the head there, but he bounces back up, throws on the left foot with the very flashy green fluoro dinks, and he puts it up to a contest. Well done, good contest there by Ben Merritt flying over the top, but it's not much they can do. Fantastic smother there by Trace Buckler, that was, with a fantastic smother getting across. Lockie Crosby gives him the well done, and it'll be another boundary throw in with, again, Goodburn going up against Palmer. Bit offline, but Goodburn wins the tap. Palmer gets his hand on it low, and Broadbeach are away here. They had good numbers around the footy. They go backwards, and it's all good hit there by Ben Merritt as the ball got out of play, and wonderful work. Lockie Crosby going back with the flight, holds the ball up, stops, props. Mark's just dropped there, but a fantastic pickup. Comes to Dan Goodburn, holding the ball. It looked like he got a fist to it there, said Chris Wright, but they've paid holding the footy, and Broadbeach will look to bring it back the other way. Bit of a scrappy start to this game, as you would expect in the first game of the pre-season, but good hard contest, a couple of big hits, and he's just pumped that up forward to Ben Merritt going back with the flight, and the umpires found a hold there. The hold was on Burrows Cheng, who will look to sell some candy, breaks a tackle and throws it on the right boot. He gets drilled after the kick, but he's put it up long to Tyler Green, I believe that is. Jack Colhoun lays a big tackle, but the Broadbeach player gets rid of the footy, and they're running away with it, and they're away now. But Corey Wedding putting in the chase out wide, but the Broadbeach player's quick. He's got a step on him, but he can't get it too far. He only gets it as far as Willoughby, I believe that is, who gives it back inboard to Crosby, puts it up himself and slots it through for the first score of the game, and that is a goal to Bond Uni. Lockie Crosby wheeled around onto his right foot from 45 metres out, and he's absolutely drilled it over the goal umpire's head. Fantastic start for Bond there. That was fantastic work by Ben Willoughby out on that far forward flank. And it's 1-0-0-6, plays no goals, nothing, 0 early on in this first quarter with about 3.5 minutes gone.
Thanks, mate. Good work.
It's Goodburn who'll again contest the ruck tap against Braid Palmer. See if the central umpire can get the bounce a bit better this time. He does. It's a beautiful bounce, and it's Goodburn winning the tap, but he can only get it down to a Broadbeach player who looked to be held without it, but it's not paid. But Broadbeach are away regardless on this near side, and they look to blaze forward. Kicks to a lead. Oh, he's just overcooked it there a little bit though. And it was well done by Davies following up there. Had good pressure. He was on his man. He wasn't letting him get a step, and that in the end was the difference between him undercooking the ball a little bit. Because it'll be a boundary throw in. Goodburn up, flies with the tap, and a great tap down to the captain, Alex Macon, but he can't quite grab it, and it's Broadbeach snapping, but they missed on the near-hand side. And that'll be their first score on the board for the day for the Broadbeach Cats. Again, recapping the reserves game, if you're just joining us, that was won by Broadbeach by 21 points. Final score was 5 goals, 6-36. Played 7 goals, 5-40. No, hang on, that doesn't work. Not sure what the final score was for Broadbeach. By the way, it was 21 points. I believe it was 7 goals, 7 goals, 8, 57, I should say, to 5 goals, 6, 36 with a win to Broadbeach as they've put it through for another behind there, and Bond will try and kick out from fullback once again. Is it Burrows Cheng with that beautiful right boot of his, kicks it about 60 metres, and Chris Powell flies, but the umpires found a free kick for a holdout. It's a beautiful mark. It's a shame that didn't count for Chris Powell because it was lovely work, but it's Bond now trying to rebound out. It's Williams. He gets his hands to it, so he's not holding the ball, but he gets it not too far, but Alex Macon now wheels onto his right foot, and he'll try and go up the wing here. But it's all Broadbeach as they've got 3 numbers to Bond's 1, and they'll go back inside 50, but he's just misjudged the kick there. It's out of bounds, and it'll be a throw in. It's well done there by Trace Buckler with the 1-on-3. He did enough to not allow clean disposal, and they've got a boundary throw in as a result. So it's Goodburn again up against Palmer in the ruck. no one really wins this one as the ball just falls to the ground and Burrows Chang tries to come out of it. Gives it to Chris Powell. Oh, the hand pass has just dropped there by Lockie Crosby. Chris Powell goes and gets his own footy, and it's Trace Buckley there. Buckler, I should say, who runs away with it. And Chris Wright, just got rid of it there, and it'll be over the line for a boundary throw-in. Was lucky to get rid of it there. It was good pressure by the Broadbeach player. Lockie Crosby just saw it over the line for a throw-in.
That part of the package, Ed Sheeran comes here, sings and plays the game of footy.
It's a good throw in there, and it's a fair contest, and it's won by Braid Palmer for Broadbeach, and Broadbeach are away here. They've got a lot of numbers through the middle of the ground if they can just get clean disposal, and they do. Plenty of time. There's not a hell of a lot happening up forward, though. He's got to go to a one-on-one, but that's a good lead there by Josh Searle for Broadbeach, who has it about 50 metres out on the far side. He'll look to just put it up to the hot spot, but there's a Broadbeach player who's found paddocks of space out there. The kick was slightly offline, but that's Jared Ellis, who'll wheel onto his left foot. Fantastic smother by Alex Macon, but Ellis gets it back and he spots up a teammate 45 metres out on a very slight angle, and he'll line up to have a shot at Broadbeach's first major for the day. I believe it's Liam Nelson who's lining up for goal. It's a toughish kick into the wind. He's got to put a fair bit of a charge into it to get it there, but it's definitely doable. He keeps it low into the wind. That's well done. A bit of a punch shot, but just misses to the near side, and that's through for another behind. It's Broadbeach, no goals, 3. Plays Bond, 1 goal straight, 6. Broadbeach have most of the run of play at the moment. Hasn't been in the Bond forward half for a while, but they'll look to change that with this kick out, and they've spotted up Ben Merritt, who did very well to end up contesting the ball as the ball got blown by the wind out of bounds. But Jack Colhoun now running through the ground, middle of the ground, but he's just blazed away a little bit there, and there's Broadbeach players back to get the cut-off intercept mark, and they'll look to bring it down the far side where they've got numbers in spades. They've got about 4 of them running uncontested down that far side. Chris Powell does well. Good effort trying to smother, but there's not much he could do, and it's a push-out in the end. And the free kick will go to Ben Merritt, who ended up taking the mark as well, but he finds Chris Wright on the near side. There's not a hell of a lot he can do, though. He looks back inside, tries to spot up Jack Robson, but can't quite get there. Tyler Green lays a big tackle, but the hand pass was made. Dan Goodburn lays it out to Lockie Crosby. He's got a difficult 2-on-1 here, but he's got to do well. He did very, very well, and he gets it onto the right boot, cuts it back inside. Ryan Lenigan unfortunately caught behind. Didn't quite reward the work of Crosby there, and it's Broadbeach who'll come away with it again. Just marking inside was Benji Neal, who chips it back inside to the ruckman Braid Palmer, and Broadbeach are away through the middle of the ground here. He takes one bounce, throws on the right boot, kicks to a 1-on-1. Probably could have taken another couple of bounces there, but instead it's a bit of a contest. Broadbeach are going to come away with it, luckily, and there's a lead there, but it's very, very well done by Davies, who puts the big fist into the ball, then goes and gets his own footy and gets about 20 metres before the ball trundles over the boundary line for a throw-in. It's Dan Goodburn contesting the ruck, and it's a big punch by the Broadbeach ruckman there, but there's not a hell of a lot of clean possession. It's sort of working around pinball-like. Broadbeach end up coming away with it, but it's well read by Burrows Cheng, who keeps it in front of himself well, does everything you're taught to do in under 12s. But he gets hit pretty hard there. The ball spills out. Broadbeach have a snap at goal. Geez, that would have been a good effort, but it's just missed to the far side. And Broadbeach have their 4th score of the game, and it's their 4th behind. So Bond with that one true kick by Lockie Crosby, still in front despite not really having much play over the past few minutes, as there's 4 minutes left in this first quarter. Chris Powell flies, fantastic mark. The Broadbeach plays a fair way over the mark there, but Chris Powell will look forward. He will roost it up to a fair contest. Ryan Lenigan, well read, Rhino, but he doesn't quite get there. It falls to Tyler Green. He's trying to get rid of it. The ball comes out now, and there's Broadbeach players everywhere. They are getting numbers to the footy at every opportunity, and Bond can't do much about it right now. They seem to have an extra 2 or 3 players out there as they stream through the middle of the ground. That's fantastic work there by the helmeted Broadbeach player. who really went from back to forward in about 10 seconds there, all off his own bat. But it's Broadbeach kicking it to the top of the square. Ben Merritt going back with a flight takes a fantastic intercept mark, and Broadbeach just haven't been converting their opportunities here. They've blazed away a couple of times when they didn't need to, and they're not exactly spotting up their forwards, who are not getting a hell of a lot of space, but that is a credit to the Bond backline, as there's 50 metres paid because the Broadbeach player overstepped the mark, and it'll be Ben Merritt's footy 50 metres out from his own goal. Bond plays an entire greens free out forward, but there's not a hell of a lot, as Ben's just going to have to put it on the boot and put it up to a contest. Unfortunately, he's kicked it to a 3-on-1 contest where Chris Power has to do something pretty special to win there. But Broadbeach will come away with it, but they can't quite link up with the kick as Jack Colheen gets the footy, gives the hands inside. Alex Macon, well done, good contest, and they'll work it out the back to Williams, who throws it on the left boot. Very, very well done. Alex Macon did well there, but it's back inside to Boris Cheng, the South Queensland representative from last year, and he blazed away a bit there. Lockie Crosby was caught behind, and there wasn't a hell of a lot he could do about the kick, as Broadbeach will bring it back along that far flank. One of the problems for Bond early on here is that Broadbeach are rebounding from that 50 pretty easily, and Bond are struggling to do the same, as Broadbeach have numbers streaming forward, and they'll have another shot here from 50 metres out directly in front, again against the wind. But if he can keep it low and reduce the wind's effect with a nice little punch, he might well be able to slot this for Broadbeach's first major of the game. He's put it up, and that'll probably be held up in the wind, and it is. But there's a good contest up forward. Bond has numbers all around the footy, and they'll come away with Captain Alex making a good tackle there, but he did well to get it to boot. And that's Jack Colhoun, I believe, taking the mark. Very well done, Alex Macon. There's not a lot happening for him up forward as we enter the final minute of play here. But his kick's a bit short there for Chris Wright, and the ball will spill over the line. Good tackle, Jack Robson, as it'll be a boundary throw in. Dan Goodburn running up from the back line to take this tap. Tends to ruck the whole game, Dan Goodburn, so he's in very good shape. This might be a test as the first external hit out of the season, but he's doing very well so far against Braid Palmer, who's a very highly thought of ruckman on the Gold Coast. And there's no way that ball's getting out of there, and the umpire will say, "I'll have it," and we'll go again. Very even contest so far. Broadbeach having just more of the play, but not being quite as calm when going forward, so they're not able to capitalise and put scores on the board, whereas Bond have that really only one or two inside 50s, but through Lockie Crosby they do have that goal, and they'll look to get another inside 50 here. But the Broadbeach spare man flies, and that spare man is really killing Bond, as they're unable to get anything inside 50 because of that spare man. They've got to get a wriggle on here with only 20 seconds left in the quarter. And it flies to Ryan Lenigan. He goes back. It looks like Broadbeach are going to come away with it again, and that'll be it for this first quarter. So we'll be back in 5 minutes to join you for quarter number 2. But very even start to this game. It's Bond Uni leading at the moment by 2 points. 1 goal straight 6, plays no goals 4-4. Broadbeach have most of the play, but they've been unable to capitalise on it thus far. See you shortly. I prefer saying no goals, nothing. But that is a good tip. I just love
Hey, Christian, Sam. We can frame those that far to the left because it's just the end of the cards cut off. Beautiful, thank you. The bomb won't go off. waved off. Yeah. Mate, I saw it up.
Yeah. I know, they were all fine. They just haven't had the best. As I've said, so
You enjoy it? Good.
He's really flexible.
Well, I didn't like the outside, just tucked it in straight over.
He's starting?
It was a good passage. Went for the whistle, missed the mouth, tripped up the feet. You're better from there. There you start. Then you're trying to get down.
It's like me, just holding have one around.
Yeah, good.
I like the first time ever the Bond face was like wave broadcast. They're definitely doing the cure for early, but the other games are not too sure yet.
I started.
Yeah. Because it doesn't work away. How do we get it back to that?
Sorry?
I've been enjoying the singing. Is that what this is?
Yeah.
That's a good playlist. It's got some cool J.
With the coach. How's it been?
Alright.
Yeah, except Harvey's not really a coach that I'm with. It makes it fun worse. You get that on microphone. If you're listening, Damien.
Oh, perfect.
Might be watching this.
I kind of messed my I messed my positioning up there, and I was like, and then I called the double whistle. I was like, yep.
My name is
Up with that.
That's the thing, it's not actually out of the question.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
And just tweaking it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh wow, I haven't turned my release on. Yeah.
That's all.
Caddy.
Yeah,
They're gonna like.
We'll break it up a second. Yeah. I was smoking this one, I was like, ah, yeah, it's back.
What have we got?
I'm more keen for what comes after this.
Oh, I meant AFL.
Oh, that also.
Yeah. Get it back by Taylor.
Let's take
Thanks,
the
bro.
0 minute side.
Thanks,
The
mate.
final one, so when the umpire's ready.
Yeah.
Jeez, we've got to support a cast of thousands now to support. We've gone from, remember when we started, we had nothing. We had Giddy. We've got 2 nutritionists,
I know, it's insane.
3 medics, 4 water carriers.
So that's right.
It's full.
Oh, mate. Fortune.
Pushing the...
Hi, Beck.
Yes.
I just said for that you weren't watching Crawl. You know what it's called?
Welcome back for this second quarter of the practice match between Bond Uni and the Broadbeach Cats, the Bond Uni AFL Fields.
We're just about to get things underway. To recap the scores, it is 1 goal straight 6. Bond Uni plays no goals for Broadbeach Cats as we get this second quarter underway through the central umpire. Early on, it's been Broadbeach who've had most of the run of play, but it is Bond with that Lockie Crosby goal who have the lead. That's not the best bounce, and I think he'll recall that and say we'll do it again, fellas. Will the central umpire, obviously. It's the players' first practice game. It's also the umpire's first practice game, so perhaps the bouncing not quite in check, as it will be come the start of the season. That's a good throw up though, but it's Broadbeach coming away with the centre clearance, and it's 1 out up forward, Bond have got, but that's going to dribble out for a boundary throw as the kick was a bit off target and the wind didn't really help. Broadbeach seemed to have gotten rid of their spare man, who was doing a lot of damage in that first quarter as Bond pushed forward. So that should hopefully open things up a little bit. As the ball comes in, Dan Goodburn again up against Braid Palmer in the ruck, but the throw-in's a bit short, and it'll instead be a contest. That seemed to be a little throw out the back by Bond, but it comes to Broadbeach anyway, and that's a big tackle by Edward Burrows Chang. Really laid into him there, and it's holding the footy. Benji Neal couldn't get rid of it. As Eddie will look to get things started, he spots Chris Wright out on the near wing. Can't quite get there, and that'll roll over for another boundary throw in a near identical spot to where the last one was, about 60 metres out from the Broadbeach goal. Another bit of a short throw in, neither ruckman can get there. Broadbeach will try and work it out the back. Ben Merritt lays in with the shoulder. Comes to Dan Goodburn. Well done by the Broadbeach player who kept it in front, but Lockie Crosby running away with it now. Gives it off to Chris Powell, gives it to Jack Colquhoun, back into Jack Robson. Great football there by Bond. He throws it on the boot up forward. They look to their downfield free kick there as Jack Robson was hit after he kicked it. And so it'll be Corey Wedding's free kick up forward, about 10 metres out and a slight angle. And that was fantastic play by Bond through the middle. Crosby, Powell, Robson, really, really nicely done, and it'll be Corey Wedding who hopefully reaps the rewards as he'll set out on a 45-degree angle, 10 metres out, and he'll try and calmly slot it through for Bond's second of the afternoon, and he just sneaks it in the far post, and that's 2 goals for Bond Uni, with Broadbeach yet to get their first major on the scoreboard. So good start by Bond here to this second quarter, kicking against the wind. But most of the play has been going against the wind so far, surprisingly. So it's an important goal with 3 minutes gone in this second quarter. Bond lead, 2 goals, 0. 12 plays, 0 goals for 4. The central umpire will go for another bounce here, and that's a beauty, that one, as he gets up. Dan Goodburn wins the tap down, but it's Broadbeach with numbers around the footy. Ben Merritt does well, wrapping up the ball, but getting wrapped up himself, and the umpire says, "I'll have it, and we'll go again. Thanks, boys."
Thank you.
And it's Goodburn and Palmer again. Palmer winning this one, but he can't palm it down to a Broadbeach player. Instead, he gets it himself, and Ben Merritt just rips it out of his hands and says, "I want that, please, mate." But it comes to Broadbeach, and they throw it out on the boot onto this near wing. He stops, he props, he tries to get off, but he can only just get his foot to it. As a fantastic tackle there by Hamilton. But Broadbeach going forward nonetheless. When the mark is just dropped. Alex Macon will try and clean up. He just got his hands to it. Did he? No, the umpire says he didn't. The umpire says he clean dropped it, and that'll be holding the ball. It's a fantastic tackle there by the Broadbeach player, but he tries to play on. And he's quite lucky to get that back, if I'm honest, because Chris Powell was lurking, and that could have gone the other way very easily. But he will get another shot. He just hadn't quite gotten back to his line before he played on. So he's got a very tough shot here. If he's a right footer, which he is, that would have been very difficult, but that's a bit poor there by Bond, to be honest. But again, it's being pulled back because that was an absolute gimme there, the spot up inside. But he's tried to go the outside of the boot. Banana, has he kicked that? That is absolutely cracking goal. It's just the right foot banana. He's thrown it on the outside and he's bent it back, using the wind to his advantage. That's a fantastic goal there by the Broadbeach player, and he's kicked their first of the afternoon, and what a way to do it. Very, very well done. Steve Johnson-esque. They are the Cats. So a bit Steve Johnson circa 2012 there. Just throwing it on the outside of the boot, and Broadbeach are on the scoreboard. 2 goals, nothing 12. Plays 1 goal for 10. 2-point lead to Bond Uni. Which, as I've said, is a lot to show for a first quarter that Broadbeach had much of the play for. So Bond will be quite happy with this lead, and if they can get on top and try and get a few more clearances than they have been doing so far, and a few more numbers around the footy, they're a really good chance to assert themselves on this game. It is just a practice game, but it is the first external hit out of the new season, and so they'll be really hoping to get a win on the board and take that confidence into round 1, which starts in a few weeks.
Come on, guys, on the back.
It's the umpire again with a great bounce, and it's Dan Goodburn winning the tap, but he can only get it down to a Broadbeach player, and they'll push forward again. But there's a good contest out there. He's worked it back beautifully, has the Broadbeach player, and he'll look up forward where that is James Royce, who will turn, and he's about too far out to score, but he'll try and look for a teammate, and he does, but it's wonderfully cut off by Burrows Cheng, who keeps it in front of himself, and he's held without it, you'd think, and the umpire agrees with me. And he will pay the free kick to Burrows Cheng there, who did very, very well. Cutting off the mark, and now he plays on, runs around, and he just gets his hands to it, and it's Hamilton who has to just get a toe to it and get it out of there however he can, and Ben Merritt is kneed in the back as he went for the mark, and he'll get the free kick. And he gets up a little bit proppy there, which is a bit of a worry, and he has to hand it off. There's not much he could do, but there's a bit offline with the kick there, and it's Broadbeach who will set up 70 to 80 metres out on this near wing, and they'll try to get it inside 50 again as he drills it just to a paddocks of space, and the Broadbeach player runs at the ball, can't quite grasp it, and it falls to ground. There's a bit of a scrap. Broadbeach still in control, but it's well done. Alex Macon just ripped it out of the opposition's hands there, and now it's seen as a throw. And that is unfortunate because Alex Macon did very well there, but a throw it is deemed, and so it'll be a free kick to Broadbeach. Probably within scoring distance with the wind at his back. He'll probably kick from right on 50 or a bit more, but with this gentle wind assisting him, he should be good to perhaps make the distance, and he thinks he can. He grabs a bit of grass, throws it up, says, yeah, I've got the wind with me, I'll have a crack. He'll have to put his boot fairly far through it, but you wouldn't bet against him, not with boots that flashy. He does, he puts it up into the wind, that's well done. He lets the wind do its job, but it just pushes it out to the near side, and he's missed that, and he'll put it through for Broadbeach's 5th behind of the afternoon. If they were kicking straight, Bond would be in trouble, but fortunately for the Bull Sharks, they are not.
Move it on now.
And that's Burrows Cheng again with the kick-out duties, and he'll put his boot through it, but he'll kick to what was really a 3-on-1. Chris Powell would have had to do something pretty special there, and it's marked by Luke Shreve of Broadbeach, who will put it up to the top of the square, the hot spot, but the wind just pulling that across, and that wind is wreaking havoc at the moment as that goes out on the full. For those of you watching at home, the wind is blowing to the Broadbeach side, but also to the near side of the ground. So if they do want to have set shots, they're going to have to start it at or maybe even outside that left goalpost to have any chance of it going in, as the wind picks that up as well and looks to run the ball out of bounds, but Dan Goodburn does well to keep it in, unfortunately only as far as Broadbeach players. That's Williams gets a hand in there. When he stops the Broadbeach momentum, it'll be out of bounds for a boundary throw in. As Williams, after doing that good work, pelts back inside 50, man up. It's really well done. Read the play, came off his man and made the difference in that contest. As great tap there by Braid Palmer for Broadbeach, but It's all very scrappy down there. Can't really get a clean clearance. It's not quite working for them, but they do now come away with it. But it's really well done by Chris Powell to make the contest and make the difference in the end there. But Broadbeach still able to come away with it, and he puts it up into the wind. But again, the wind just takes that to the near side, and it'll be another behind. So I believe that's 1 goal 7 now to Broadbeach, maybe 1 goal 6. I think it's 1 goal 6. So 1 goal 6, 12 plays 2 goals, nothing, 12. So that tells a bit of a story. Broadbeach having most of the play, but just unable to convert on the scoreboard. As Goodburn does well to get a hand in there, and Ben Merritt will look to come away with it. He gives it to Lockie Crosby, who turns back into traffic, and there's not much he could do about that. But Ben Merritt goes and gets his own footy, throws it on the boot, and Chris Wright going back with the flight. Very gutsy, plays on, throws on the left boot, and it's going to be one-on-one here by Corey Wedding. He just gets caught behind. Very well done by the Broadbeach fullback, and he's really saved the day there. And Broadbeach are away if they can just stop and prop and throw it on the right boot. Boris Cheng caught out of play a bit by his opponent, who wheels around and throws on the left, puts it up to the hot spot, but just overcooks his man, and Bond will look to come away with it the other way through James Wiseman. But the kick doesn't quite go to hand there. Oh, and there's a good contest, but he looks to have fallen under Tyler Green's ankles and tripped him up, and the umpire says that'll be a free kick to you, Tyler, and so he'll set up, and Bond will try and calm things down a bit here. Broadbeach have had most of the play, with 3.5 minutes left in this second quarter. But Ben Merritt has played on, but he gives over the top. James Fitchett, who's under pressure, turns back into traffic. Oh, beautifully fakes out, throws it on the right boot, puts it up into the wind. You can just see that ball stopping in the wind before it could get to Jack Colquhoun. But Bond slowly moving the ball forward. Dan Goodburn might have dived on it there. He might be in trouble, but the umpire says no. No prior opportunity. I'll have it, and we'll have a ball up. With 3 minutes left on the clock in the second quarter, the ball just inside the Bond forward 50. But they need to get something going here, Bond. It's been all Broadbeach for the last 10 minutes, and even though those scores are level, it's very much one-sided as you are watching it. And Broadbeach again have another chance to go forward here, but again sort of just blazing away. Oh, but it's very well done by the Broadbeach full forward there, and he'll line up 20 metres out on a 45-degree angle.
What helped is he kicked it and gave it enough air for it to run onto it.
To give Broadbeach their first lead of the game.
Good Jai, kept it moving. Jai, while you're here. Quick.
With the left foot, and he drills it through, but he's missed it to the near side as well. That goalpost isn't seeing much go to the left of it. Pretty much everything's missing to the right. But at the moment, it's keeping Bond in the game. So at this stage, they're going to go into the halftime break. The score's pretty much level, and in all honesty, they don't necessarily deserve it to be that way. But Broadbeach just can't capitalise on their opportunities, and the Bond backline's been good to keep the pressure on them, and that's the story of the game so far, really. Broadbeach just not able to take control of the game and convert it to scoreboard points. As Boris Cheng kicks it to himself, and he'll look to get it out of that 50 for once and for good. And Ben Merritt coming across the flight, but it's going to come straight back in anyway. Broadbeach have numbers at every single drop of the ball, but that hand pass doesn't quite go to hand, and it's out over the boundary line for a throw in, as there's a bit of rough and tumble there. Bit of feeling in it, even though it's a practice game. It is both teams' first hit out of the year, so you might want to put a bit of feeling into it. Nothing wrong with that. As Broadbeach again come away with it, and they've got space here as they get it out. Oh, well done. That's really well worked. And he sells the can. He throws it on the right boot and puts it through for a goal. And there's the goal that Broadbeach have been looking for. Haven't been able to do that so much so far in this game, but that was a wonderful little bit of play there as Dan Goodburn comes to the bench for a well-deserved rest. I think he's rucked this entire first half, and he'll be replaced with big Ryan Lenigan, the club life member, the first and only Bond University Football Club life member, inducted at last year's Best and Fairest Awards. But that goal, I believe, makes it 2 goals 6, 18. Plays 2 goals straight 12. I can't quite see the scoreboard.
Alright guys, come at the back.
And with 10 seconds left on the clock, this ball up will pretty much be all we get of this second quarter, and the tap is won by Broadbeach, and the umpire will call it back, and that'll do us for this first half of footy. We will join you back here for the second half shortly. Recapping the scores, it is 2 goals 0 12, plays 2 goals 6 18. Broadbeach on top, both on the scoreboard and on the field in that first half. Shippy.
Can we just get the commentator's mic during the quarter breaks, please? Thank you.
as the opening bounce there was way offline, and the umpire say we'll try that again. And he'll throw it up to officially get this second half underway. It's Dan Goodburn with the big fly, but it's Braid Palmer winning the tap, and Broadbeach will go up forward. Burrows Cheng just got an unfortunate bounce there, as he said himself, but he goes and gets his own footy anyway, and it's worked back to Wish Wilson, who throws it on the right boot, and it'll come away. Bond will get it through Alex Macon. He throws it on the boot. Up forward, Jack Colhoun read it beautifully, but well punched by the Broadbeach player. Comes down to Chris Powell, and Colhoun's away. Good shepherd there by Lockie Crosby, and Colhoun just throws it on the boot, way offline, and that'll trundle over the boundary line for a throw-in in that forward pocket. Ball comes in, and it's a very short throw in there, so it's Broadbeach who'll get the advantage with possession, but it'll go out and we'll do it all over again. A good tough game so far. It is the first proper hit out for both teams, and there is a bit of scrappiness and the skills aren't quite there, but good hard contests at the footy, and both teams seem very fit for this early on in the pre-season. It comes out the back to captain Alex Macon, throws it on the boot. But that wind again pushing it to the near side, and it's gone out in the full, and Broadbeach will come away with it as they try and push forward and get something happening down the far side of the ground. It's a lot of run, but Bond manning up pretty well here. There's not a hell of a lot doing as he spots one teammate just outside 50 on that far side. But again, not a great deal doing. He might just have to throw this on the boot. Oh, he sells some candy. He gets caught with it. Very lucky to get away with it there. That was a fantastic tackle as Alex Macon turns back into traffic. But he gives it off. Jack Robson on the right boot, kicks high and long. But again, the wind pushing it to this near side, and Jack Colhoun can't quite rope it in, and it'll be out of bounds for another boundary throw in that forward pocket. Bond taking advantage of the wind at the start of this third quarter. Not a lot Broadbeach can do early on, but Bond have to take this opportunity and turn it into scoreboard pressure, because they will be kicking against the wind for that last quarter, and you would think they need at least a 2 or 3 goal lead going into that last quarter, because that's what the wind has seemed to be, about a 2-goal wind. Jack Colhoun taps it back into the middle, and they're playing volleyball at the moment instead of footy, but the ball comes out the back and it goes to Broadbeach, who gets absolutely wrapped up in a tackle and drilled into the ground. Fantastic tackle there by the captain, Alex Macon. And the umpire says, I'll have it. And we'll have another stoppage early on here. Not so free-flowing at the start of this second half as it was in that first quarter, but Broadbeach can't quite get possession there. Lockie Crosby does very well, although he pulled it back in, but he gets rid of it again. Tyler Green with hands out the back. Broadbeach players doing well. It's just sort of bouncing around. Eventually, Broadbeach get a kick on it, but Ben Merritt takes the cut-off mark. Gives a big swinging arm to Broadbeach player who was all over his back, but Merritt will look to go inside 50. Chris Powell will fly. Oh, he nearly came down with it there. That would have been a spectacular mark, but it's a scrap and comes out. Chris Powell again gives hands off. Jack Colhoun can drill it. Oh, he's just hit it off the far goalpost. It was working back, but he just couldn't quite get it back far enough in time. So that'll be Bond's first point of the afternoon. 2 goals, 1, 13 plays, 2 goals, 6, 18. And Broadbeach, they find the open man in this near side forward pocket, and they look to move it up, but that's a shocking kick, and Sam Wilson will mark 50 metres out on quite a tight angle. You wouldn't expect him to score from here, although it is on the good side for the wind. If he just puts it up to the top of the square, it might blow in, and that's what he's looking to do. He's still looking to give it off, and he's found someone now. He's found Ben Willoughby, but he can't quite get the kick there, and Broadbeach will calmly work it out of their defensive 50, and they've got plenty of time, plenty of space, but not a hell of a lot of runners, and that'll be Boris Cheng looking to cut it off, drops the mark, but goes and gets his own footy with James Fitchett there to help out. Fitchett, though, hands it straight back into traffic, and Broadbeach, now with numbers and runners everywhere, they're streaming inside 50, but the kick's not quite there. Oh, well done, Fitchett, got a fist to it, otherwise it was a sure goal, but that's held in, and the umpire says, I'll have it, and it'll be ball up. About 20 metres out from the Broadbeach goal, directly in front.
like for our players to settle in.
The tap is won by Goodburn. He taps back inside, comes out to Wish Wilson and to Ben Merritt, the two old friends who work it up forward. Chris Powell will fly, but it's just over his head and it comes out the back and it's Lockie Crosby in a one-on-one. Lockie Crosby lays a good tackle, but the Broadbeach player gets his foot to it. That's very well done. Chris Powell now going at the footy. Crosby goes back and gets it himself, and Wish Wilson will throw it on the left boot and he'll calmly work it out to the far wing where Bond can regroup. They push up forward, Jack Colhoun in front. Just misjudges the bounce and it goes over his head, and it looks like Broadbeach have a chance, but no, they've turned back into traffic. Colhoun can't quite grab it though, and it'll go out over the line for another boundary throw-in as Chris Powell comes to the bench for a well-earned break. Good tap there by Braid Palmer for Broadbeach, and they'll look to come away with it, but Jack Robson sweeping out the back of the contest, puts his hands on it. Sam Wish Wilson looked like he could have been taken high, but in the end he's deemed to have been held with the ball, and that'll be a free kick to Broadbeach, and they'll be able to calm things down a little bit after Bonds had most of the play early on, using the wind a lot better than they did in that first quarter. Broadbeach working the ball down that far side, slowly but surely, playing good footy into the wind, just chipping the ball around. They don't want to blaze away where it's hard to judge a long ball. They're just biding their time. They know that if they can just see this quarter out with a lead, they're more than likely going to win the game with kicking with the wind in that last quarter. But here they go, there's an opportunity as they come through the middle. Ooh, Sam Wish Wilson laid what could have been a really big hit, but he just pulled out at the last minute. But there is still a scrap for the footy. The ball can't come out, and the umpire puts his hands across his chest and says, "I'll have it, thanks, boys."
Who's going up? Who's going up? You two?
It'll be a ball up.
All right, come on the back.
Pretty much in the middle of the ground, just on the far side. And it's streaming through the middle as Barrows Chang, but his hand pass misses the mark, and then he gets sold out by some very nice candy there from the Broadbeach player. And the umpire finds a free kick, says he was all over him. And Broadbeach will push forward again, but wonderful mark there. Cutting it off is Hamilton, I believe. He's done very, very nicely there. And he'll try and work it out. It is Hamilton. He gives hands off to Fitchett, who's got plenty of time and space through the middle of the ground. But he'll sort of blaze away a little bit, look for Tyler Green, who drops the mark, but Lockie Crosby's there to mop up. Handballs to nowhere, but goes and gets it himself. Dives on the footy, needs to get it out, and he does. Well done, Bond, and there was a free kick there to Broadbeach. It was Wish Wilson diving into the legs of the opposing player, which is the new rule from 2015. Can't dive at someone else's knees. The umpire did well to see that there and call the free kick, but it's Broadbeach looking to move forward now. They put it up to a 3-on-2. Oh, very well done by Mitch Cavick, the Broadbeach player who just lifted that knee and held him off, and not so good on the kick as Tyler Green comes through. Nearly lays a big tackle, and now he does follow it up. Oh, he's deemed to have fallen into the back.
It was almost legal.
I thought he turned him over there, but the umpire always knows best, and the Broadbeach player puts it up forward, but he can only get it as far as Ben Merritt, who takes a good cut-off mark in the last line of defence, and Bond will try and work it out down that far side. As James Wiseman now plays on, runs back around, looks for Hamilton, and Bond are away here. Oh, but the mark is dropped, and it's a 3-on-1, and the Broadbeach player's done very, very well. Gotten it over the top. This would be a terrific effort as Alex Macon gets drilled into the ground. But the ball comes out to Ben Merritt, gets his hands to it. I thought he got his hands to it, but the umpire says he did not. Deems it is a throw, and it will be a Broadbeach free kick from about 30 metres out, or a bit less than that actually, about 20 metres out on a 45-degree angle. And he can calmly go back and slot Broadbeach's third of the afternoon. As Alex Macon, the captain for today, comes to the bench for a well-deserved rest. It's blowing hard. It's obviously the first hit out for the boys, and fitness might not be what it will be on round one, as Broadbeach, he calmly slots it in that far post, and Broadbeach have their third major of the afternoon. It is 3 goals, 6-24. Broadbeach to, I believe, 3 goals, 1-19, is it? Can't quite see the scoreboard from here, but it's on your screens. As Ryan Lenigan runs onto the field to contest this next ruck tap. It's a big goal for Broadbeach against the wind and against the run of play. Very important. Has Bond come away with the footy, but Merritt's kick just out to paddocks of space out here, and Colquhoun's laying in, or nearly gets there to lay the big tackle. Wish Wilson does well, flies from behind, lays the spoil in. Well done, Sam Wish Wilson. His first game of footy for a good while, rising up and making a good spoil, as it'll be a boundary throw in with Ryan Lenigan going up against Braid Palmer in the ruck. And it's Palmer who wins the tap down, but he can only get it as far as Ben Willoughby, throws it on the right boot, dribbles it up forward. The Broadbeach player turns into traffic, and he's drilled by Chris Wright. But the umpire says he was drilled a little bit too late after the ball had already gone. It's a free kick to Broadbeach.
Good Sharpie.
And that'll be Riley Head who has the free kick on the near wing, just in the Broadbeach defensive half of the grounds. He'll look to spot up his teammate with Boris Cheng. Well done with the spoil, and Chris Powell works well with him. It's Boris Cheng coming away with it. He'll look for Jack Colquhoun. He'll prop and come back, and he'll look for a teammate. There's not a hell of a lot happening up forward. Lockie Crosby seems to be free, but they're going to go long to Corey Wedding in about a 4-on-1. He'd have to do something spectacular to do anything good here. And he's done well just to sort of make a contest of it, but not sure about the decision-making there by Boris Cheng. Probably should have looked for a shorter option, if we're honest. But as it is, great pressure by Corey Wedding, resulted in an out on the full kick, and Bond will have another opportunity. So very well done there by Corey Wedding to make the best of what was an awful situation, and still Bond footy. They'll look to go inside 50. Crosby puts it up. He goes for goal.
Oh, that's a free kick.
Is it touched on the line or is it through? It's through. What a fantastic goal there by, I believe it was Lockie Crosby, who's got his second of the afternoon. Really using the wind there. Just put it up into the wind, and the wind did the rest.
Yeah, I'm just going to play Palmy and Surf.
Fantastic work, Lockie Crosby with his second. And Bond back in it now. With only a minute and a half left on the clock, though, they'd love one more before they go into this last quarter where they have to kick against the wind, as that wind has really picked up and is blowing very strongly now. So it's probably a 2 or 3 goal wind, if anything. But that's the first. They had to get that, and Lockie Crosby has delivered. And so now they'll be trying to get another one in this last minute, but it'll take something pretty special out of this centre clearance, with Ryan Lenigan contesting it against Braid Palmer. That's a good bounce, and Palmer wins the tap down, but Lenigan roves it himself. Just misses the hand pass to Willoughby. That would have been it. So he gets the kick forward, and Colquhoun's got to get a wriggle on now as the time is expiring. Colquhoun keeps in front of himself wonderfully. He seems to be held without it there, but it's not paid, as Broadbeach will come away with it. But no, oh, here we go. James Wiseman gets it, gets the hands over the top, but they can't quite get clean possession. That would have been a really big moment if Bond could have capitalised there. There's still a chance. Merritt throws it on the boot up forward. Wish Wilson turns, and he misses to the near side. That would have been huge going into the third quarter time break. If the coach had been able to slot one, that would have been massive momentum shift as the clock winds down, and that'll pretty much do us for this third quarter, unless there can be a Bond mark. There is not. It's a scrap, and Broadbeach will run away with it, but they won't have time to do anything as the siren sounds. So we'll be back in about 5 minutes with the start of this final quarter. But all to play for here. Broadbeach kicking with the wind in this last quarter, and you'd think because of that fact they'll have the advantage, but you never know in football.
The start.
Have you got some water?
I did. His name? The guy who was at women's. Yeah, I did it, Nico. That last bounce was like, oh, that's good. What did he have? Yeah, that's it.
The size of my thighs.
Oh, I think probably shouldn't score a goal at quarter.
I'm getting back into the rhythm a bit better now.
Yeah.
Just didn't start there. So it's like, oh yeah, that's all coming back. Broadbeach 3 goals, 24, and 3 goals, 220.
Just bring that too.
What's the point? Like when you put the
Yeah, no, that's fine.
That's everything.
That's all right.
I've been going to the chiropractor, I haven't been going to massage, I've been dodging everything. I've got a little bit. Yeah, gave him, oh beautiful mate. Yeah, gave him an ultimatum. I like. Fair enough. Yeah. Well, it's not engagement.
Okay, fair enough.
My services pay me something up front.
Yeah, it's fair. So they scored, the Broadbeach scored anything in that quarter? I get it. 2 points. Oh, perfect then. What have we got left, guys? Who's going to win? You'd expect so. Who's going to win? Who's going to win? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. Come on. It's pretty good at Bond actually. Very good surprise.
I guess the defense, right? Held in.
So does that mean because UQ's gone down, does that mean they're going to have a bye in the proper...
There's one less game. There's one less game. What game?
Oh yeah, look, I don't, you know, I don't mind, like, you know, minutes yet, so if that's why I get relegated to, you know,
Well, everyone,
that's fair.
there's not enough numbers, so everyone's going to have to, if it's fair,
Yeah, it's fine.
drop down once during the year.
Yeah, it's fine. Alright, that's for about a minute, guys, isn't it? Let's go, Broadbeach! You ready, guys? Huh? Yeah, man. See how we go.
Chibi, Paul?
Move, Brody!
Yeah, we'll do 5. Eddie hasn't called us, so you gotta announce it.
And we're back for the fourth quarter of this practice game between Bond Uni and the Broadbeach Cats. Score at three-quarter time is Broadbeach 3 goals 7-25, pays Bond 3 goals 2-20. So all to play here. There's a very, very strong wind going to the right-hand side of the screen though, and that is the way Broadbeach are kicking. Sort of a cross breeze blowing towards the near side as well, so keep that in mind. But Bond will really have to dig deep if they're to find a goal against the wind here and hold off Broadbeach from scoring as we get this fourth quarter underway through the central umpire. It's Ryan Lanigan in there for Bond, contesting the tap. But the bounce is well offline and he'll recall that and they'll do it all over again with a throw up.
It doesn't matter, should we do it better than that?
At the three-quarter time huddle, the message from Coach Wish Wilson was to dig deep. It may just be a practice game, but this is where they practice their mental toughness and kicking against the wind, against the team that plays in a higher division. A goal down is really, really when you have to tough it out if you want to have any chance of winning. So it's a good test for Bond here as Ben Merritt throws it on the right boot, but to no avail as there's a Broadbeach player getting back to take the intercept mark. And Broadbeach look to be away, but the mark is dropped. Boris Chang just can't quite grab hold of it there. And Broadbeach are away down this near side. With paddocks of space is Max Gamble, who throws it on his right boot, but he can't get it up there. And it's wonderful, almost marked by Chris Wright, but Boris Chang mops up. Oh, he hand passes back into traffic there. Hamilton does well, but he can't quite get it out of there. And Chris Wright gets beaten by the tackle, and Broadbeach can prop back and set up again and push inside forward. 50. Oh, and it's just over the top. That's a beautifully judged mark. Just saw that the ball was going to creep over the top of the pack there. And he's run onto it and laced it through for Broadbeach's fourth goal of the day, and that will be 4 goals 7-31, plays 3 goals 2-20, and that is a bit of a crucial goal early on in this fourth quarter, with Bond now having to make up a 2-goal margin, kicking into a very, very heavy wind.
Davey, you go out and tell Wicknell to play on 39 and Riley to play on the deeper one, please.
As Lanigan will again contest the centre bounce against the Broadbeach reserve ruckman. And he wins the tap pretty comfortably there down to Alex Macon. He can't quite wrap his hands around it, but a big tackle by Sam Wish-Wilson, and that is holding the ball, and he'll play on quickly and get it to Ben Merritt, who just blazes away, and the ball just stops in the wind and drops down straight, and the mark is taken by Jared Ellis for Broadbeach, who will look to get things moving. He comes out to the near side, but his kick to, a beautiful kick. He's really spotted up. James Roy is there well. He puts it on the boot and gets it up forward, but it's all Bond back there, and you'd hope they can work it out of here through Sam Wish-Wilson. Big shepherd almost by Ryan Lanigan, and now Wish-Wilson has to go. He's run too far. There wasn't a lot for him presenting up the ground, and just took a couple too many steps there as he got caught running with the footy. It's an unfortunate mistake there as Broadbeach try to play on, but they'll be told to go back. Oh, and he's kicked the goal, but the ball will be brought back to the spot of the free kick because he wasn't on his line when he played on. But geez, that was a nice kick. He's kicked that from about 60 metres out, and that should just show you how strong this wind is because it went through about halfway up the posts So either he is an NFL punter in disguise or that wind is very, very strong. As Max Gamble with the free kick, and he should just put this up into the wind and have a shot. With the way it's blowing, he does put it up into the wind, but he puts it up and right into the wind, and so that wind just goes thank you and blows it out of bounds on the full, and it'll be a Bond free kick. As they collect the footy, it'll be Burrows Cheng kicking in from the back pocket. And he hits up Alex Macon, who can't quite hold him to the mark. Good pressure there by Broadbeach, but it's still going to be worked out by Bond, hopefully. That looked like it could have been a throw, but it's not seen by the umpire. But Broadbeach get it nonetheless and throw it back in. Fitchett, courageous Fitchett and Wish Wilson coming together. They didn't talk, but they were both going back with the flight, so we'll forgive them for that. As Burrows Cheng hands it back and Bond will come out the far side through. Hopefully Chris Powell, he does well, keeps in front of himself, stops, props, sells a bit of candy, works it out over the top. Oh, but a big tackle there by Broadbeach, and that is holding the ball, but the advantage is paid. They'll go up forward. The mark will be dropped though. Oh, he had a lot of space and a lot of time, but he couldn't quite hold on to the mark, and that'll be through for a point instead. But Broadbeach really using this wind well and having all of the play. The start of this fourth quarter is Burrows Cheng will play on. He didn't have a great deal of space there, but he's done well. As the kick is just missed by Williams. Wish Wilson will go back inside. Williams working hard over the footy. Big tackle by Fitchett, and it comes out over the top. Well done, James Fitchett, as it comes to Alex Macon. And he'll run away with the ball to Chris Powell, who can't quite get there. And if Chris Powell can't get to a ball, it's probably too far for anyone to get to, because he's pretty quick. He's Powley.
No one. You're not getting a touch, mate. You might as well just
As the boundary umpire will throw it in once again with 5 minutes gone in this final term. It's Broadbeach winning the clearance. They have been doing that well all day, but the snap is offline and it will be out on the full. And I tell you what, if Broadbeach had kicked straighter, this game would have been over a long time ago. They now, I believe, 4 goals, 8, and they've had 4 out on the full as well. So if they'd kicked a bit straighter, this game could be all done and gone. But as it is, Bond still have a slight chance if they can really get a goal in the next couple of minutes against the wind. As Wish Wilson will work it out from the back, gives it to Ben Merritt, who's had a very, very good game across that half-back line and pushing forward occasionally. As that should be 50, you'd think. It was 50. The Broadbeach player just coming in late on, I think that might be Lockie Crosby, but I'm not entirely sure.
Mark's here. Mark's here. The line's there. Time back on.
No, my apologies. It was not Lockie Crosby. It was Trace Buckler who got that 50 metres, but they haven't been able to do much to it. Throws it on the boot, up forward, and that's... Jack Colquhoun just can't quite hold on to the mark. And it'll be a throw in Bond's right forward pocket. It's Bush Wilson coaching from out on the field. And there's a hold there, but which way is it going to go? A hold to Bond. Dan Goodburn, a hold in the ruck contest, and Dan Goodburn will line up for what will be a very, very important goal if he can manage to slot it. This will really make things interesting if Goodburn can go back and put 6 points on the board.
Broadbeach, clear out. Good us.
He's about 15 metres out on a slight angle, kicking into the wind, but the distance will not be a factor. It's really just whether he can get it straight over the goal umpire's head off the boot. And it looks... No, he's just missed to the near side, unfortunately. Just couldn't quite get it on line. Bond will have to try and keep the ball in here. They do need a goal very soon if they're to factor in this game. If they can just keep it in their forward 50. As Broadbeach look to bring it up the near side, but they've kicked to about an 8-on-1. James Fitchett does well, goes and gets his own footy, just misses the hand pass, but it ends up with Jack Robson who gets his own hands out. Broadbeach trying to come away with it, but he felt the pressure, he just sort of punted it forward. Dan Goodburn just misses the hand pass. Oh, big tackle there. That was Vanderveen with the tackle, really hit him hard, and it'll be the umpire's balls. It'll be a ball up in that about 25 metres out from the Bond goal on the near side. And Broadbeach coming away with the clearance, but they run into each other. James Fitchett does well, gets the footy, gives it out to Ben Merritt, throws it on the boot, one out, Corey Wedding, can he fly? He can't quite grab it, well done by the Bond player, but the Broadbeach player, I should say, but Colquhoun snaps and he misses. That's two good opportunities for Bond that have gone begging there as they look for that elusive goal to get them back in the match. I believe that makes it 3 goals for 22. Plays 4 goals 8-32. I can't quite see the screen. So they'll need a second. They'll need a goal here, Bond, as there's a push in the back. It'll go Bond's way to Barry's Cheng. The umpire just pointed his arm the wrong way, but it was very clear that it was a Bond free kick. As Barry Cheng looks into the middle, spots up James Fitchett, who takes the mark well, and he'll push back off the mark and try and find another teammate. Chris Powell lurking up half forward, and he does go to Chris Powell, who'll fly in front of Dan Goodburn. They can't work it out. Seemed the ball was just dropped there, but the umpire says it was hand passed out, and Broadbeach are away down this near side. He'll stop. He'll throw it on that right boot up forward, and the wind will just take it over the head of Davies and over the head of Palmer, the Broadbeach player, and it'll roll out of bounds for a throw in the Broadbeach forward pockets. And that is a bit of a problem for Bond, because you would think that they'll struggle to get it out of there against the wind. And they do need 2 quick goals with only 5 minutes left in this final quarter. As Jack Colquhoun comes to the bench for a well-deserved rest, and he's replaced by Tyler Green. The ball comes in, Ben Merritt trying to clear it out of that contest. Looks for Williams, but it's well marked by the Broadbeach player. And that's James Royers, who's had a good second half here, and he'll line up he'll end up having a kick probably 55 metres on the wrong side for a right footer, but with this wind, if he just throws it up at that far post, you'd think the wind might be able to do the rest. The distance shouldn't be an issue with such a strong wind at his back, and he does exactly that at the left post. The wind does the rest, and he's slotted straight through for another Broadbeach goal, and you'd think that is probably the final nail in the coffin with only 5 minutes left in the game to put Broadbeach up by the best part of 3 goals.
We're getting a bit lazy. We're getting a bit lazy now. Down that back line, just 5 metres off their blokes. And then, yeah, like he's just standing there.
As Williams comes off for a rest, and he's replaced by James Wiseman, who will take his place on the wing. But with only 4 minutes left in the game, it probably can be chalked down as a Broadbeach win. But considering the Bond boys, a lot of them backing up from the reserves game this morning, playing against a team that's a division higher than them, as far as the first hit out of the pre-season goes, it's a very, very good performance by the Bond team. Some great individual performances. Ben Merritt's been fantastic all day. Alex Makin's led from the front in his first game as captain. And that looks to be a free kick to Broadbeach, about 40 metres out, 45-degree angle. Again, distance with this wind shouldn't be an issue, and this should actually be quite an easy kick if he just starts at the left-hand goalpost. It should work across nicely for him. Broadbeach have been impressive. They've had all of the run, they've had a lot better numbers around the footy. And after the start, where they didn't capitalise on their opportunities, they have started to do so in the second half, although as I say that, he misses to the far side. Wind didn't quite work it back enough for him. But Bond can definitely be proud of this performance. They've dug in. It's a very, very hot day here. Some of them have played 2 games, and they'll be a lot better for this performance. Boris Cheng, he's had a good game and he'll kick out from fullback. As you can see, just that wind, just working the ball left. Terrible conditions for golf. Not that much better for footy. As Ben Merritt looks, and fantastic kick there, spots up his teammate.
Play, you've come around, play, you've come around.
As he works inside, Ryan Lenigan gets it back. Fantastic work, hands over the top. Just cut off there by Jared Ellis, the Broadbeach player. And Broadbeach will look to go. All Ryan Lenigan just drills someone into the ground, and it's on now. There's a bit of biff, there's a bit of rough and tumble. There's a few guys. Alex Macon goes in to stand up for him. Captain doing his bits as Broadbeach will get the game moving.
Let it go.
But there's a bit of feeling in it, even though it's a practice game. It's all right, you don't mind saying that it means a bit to the boys, and Ryan Lenigan did absolutely just drill that poor Broadbeach player into the ground. He had every right to stand up to himself, I think, but good to see the Bond boys getting around each other.
Good, Nels.
There's a few tired bodies out there, and I don't think there was any chance of that escalating into anything more, because I don't think they have enough energy to escalate into anything more. It's a very hot day. There's Broadbeach look to move up forward, but that will be out in the full. That wind still wreaking havoc. As we count down to the end of this game, Broadbeach with very much a now unassailable lead. As far as Cheng tries to work it out from fullback, he'll kick a cross goal, very risky with the wind, but a good mark taken down there. Saved the day a little bit. And it's worked out of fullback and another good mark taken. Bond, they've looked good here, especially in this last quarter, considering they've been kicking into the wind. They haven't quite done enough, but they can definitely hold their heads high. This has been a good quarter of footy. As I say that, there is a ball cut off by the Broadbeach player, but again, he misses to the near side. They haven't been the most accurate of teams, but they have been a very impressive team, the Broadbeach Cats today. They are finalists from last year's Queensland AFL League, the Quaffle, which is a division higher than the division that the Bond boys play in. So it's a good showing just to push them to this point by the Bull Sharks, and they should definitely be proud of that. I think Coach Sandwich Wilson will be stoked, not only to have had a bit of a run around himself, but also of the signs that this shows for the season moving forward, hoping to go a couple better than last year where they were knocked out in the prelim finals. And Wish Wilson just kicked in the stomach there by the Broadbeach player, who is also himself struggling a little bit. There's a little bit of feeling in it. As the clock ticks down, there's 20 seconds left. Broadbeach will try and get one more on the board, but they'll just miss to the far side, and that'll be probably the final score of the game. As the timeout ticks down, Boris Cheng will play on to himself, and that'll be the last play of the game. As the siren will sound, and it's Broadbeach who have run away as winners, with, I believe, kicking 5 goals, 8-38 to Bond's 3 goals, 4-22. But you may have to correct me on the score. If you're watching at home, I can't see the scoreboard. But thank you very much for joining us today. It is Bond's first hit out of the pre-season, other than intra-club games. Unfortunately going down to Broadbeach today, but it was a good showing against a very quality and successful outfit. We'll join you for other home games throughout the season. Hope you've enjoyed the telecast. Have a good weekend.
Sorry? Yeah.
You didn't have to run as hard to get to the spots. Yeah.
Yeah, Daffy's back.
Fight on again.
Yeah. Father of the year again.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
tried hard, thanks, Brett.
Is there any water in that group?
And Bond, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Finish your missions.
Yeah, no, someone come waiting for him.